great.
Cool.
Yeah. I was a little depressed the other day when the snow came back.
Yeah.
We had like 70-degree weather over the weekend, then snowed the next day or the day after.
Yeah.
It was a little depressing.
A little surprising that it stayed. The snow stayed.
Yeah, it did.
Hit the ground and it piled up.
Just to pretty much be mean, really.
Give us the hope of spring and then bring back winter.
Yeah, winter never let go totally. That's the problem. But we're back today to talk about time. Yep. What about time?
Well, one of those things that we notice is that when we're little kids, we, all people, when we're little kids, time seems to last forever. And an afternoon can seem like weeks.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember summers that seemed like they lasted for years and years and years. When I look back on them, it seems like it was so long.
Oh,
but when you get older, the summers go by faster. The days go by really fast. The weekends go by extraordinarily way too much in like a breath of time.
Oh, yeah.
And then...
Weekends are gone in a snap.
Yeah. In studies, though, they said that once you get to be about 50 years old, time stops going faster. Because it kind of comes to kind of a...
But it takes till 50?
Takes till you're 50. And then it comes down to
So it's going to keep speeding up on me until I hit 50.
But at that time, it's not going to slow down. The studies show that it kind of stays at that same speed. Years go by just as fast as they did when you're 40. They go just that fast when you're 80. Or no, 50. Because 50 is when it slows down.
Or stops increasing.
Stops increasing speed. And
well, that's terrifying because I think that it flies by now. I can't imagine when I'm 50 how fast it'll be. I'll be like, blink, 3 days gone by. Mm-hmm. What the heck?
One of the things I was thinking is if you could make it so that you could slow time down, it would make it so that you lived longer. Because it feels like you lived lifetimes in your childhood. That's why it is. I think that when we think of our lives and who we are, that we do bring so much from our childhood because it was a huge portion of our life. It just feels like it went on forever and ever. Maybe that's some of it. So if we could slow time down all the time, then it would make it like we were living longer. Longer, more full lives.
But you could also, there's a few ways to look at it. You could look at the difference on how you spent your time as a child versus how you spend your time as an adult. Days as a child was filled with whatever you wanted to do. Yeah. Like summers especially, it's whatever you wanted to do. So you didn't have any, like as an adult, regular adulting means you're going to work and you have certain hours that you're maybe not exactly doing what you want, but you do it because that's what we do.
And I do feel like as adults, I think some of it is that we kind of look for ways to make it so that our work days go by faster. Is that we want for that time to speed up so that we can get to the weekend where we want it to slow down, but we're not very good at figuring out how to make it slow down.
Yeah,
so I wonder if we're kind of making it speed up. Because up until...
we're trying to rush it so much to get to that weekend?
Because we want to get to the weekend, we want to get to our time off, and so we try to make it so that it speeds up during our work time.
Maybe.
I wonder.
I don't know. It'd be interesting to look at.
Some of it that I was wondering...
Time is always a weird one.
It is.
Because it's odd, because you can think of childhood, and what was the longest parts of your childhood? It's kind of summers. School years didn't feel like they went forever. They felt long, don't get me wrong, but not as long as summer to me.
That's true. I do feel like I remember some being in the fourth grade and feeling like I had always been in the fourth grade.
Well, I remember being in whatever grade, third, fourth, second, first. I remember all that. But really, when I reflect back on time, it's the summers I remember. Mm-hmm. It's the going out and playing with my friends and whatever, jumping on the trampoline with my sisters, and that's what I remember.
Yeah, it does stretch out more.
Yes, seems to stretch out more in that time.
That kind of goes against that theory that maybe it's because you're packing so much knowledge and learning into a period of time that makes it so that it lasts longer. But maybe we are learning more in the summers as a child that we just don't realize that we're maybe not learning as much in school.
Well, yeah, I have a theory on
school. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
a lot of just babysit time there.
Mm-hmm. So maybe it still is that we're packing so much knowledge into that amount of time.
Well, yeah.
That makes it so that it stretches out the summers, stretches out the weekends, the hours that we're just thinking, just being bored, just coming up with new ideas.
Maybe.
It makes it so that it stretches out time for us.
I don't know. You think it's learning?
I don't know. It's something that I've thought about because I feel like if you can cram in a bunch of the stuff that you're learning, then it goes by really fast. Like, or not really fast, but you can stretch out an afternoon that way. If you learn a whole bunch.
Is that looking back on it, or?
Yeah, looking back on it. It seems like it's a stretched out period of time. Because it's weird, I don't remember during the summers it did seem like it was a long time. It seemed like by the time school came around,
I don't know if
it had been forever.
Exactly true, because I remember being in nursing school while I was there seemed like an eternity. Like it was it felt like it was never going to end. But looking back on it, it was just gone. And there was a lot of stuff that crammed in there. I mean, I did a lot of stuff, traveled a lot of places. I mean, they had me traveling everywhere for clinicals. I mean, good heavens.
But if you were to compare that to a different year, like take clinical summer. If you were to take that and compare it to a different summer, like this last summer of 2020, where we didn't do much of anything, then do you feel like that the clinical summer was longer or that the last summer in 2020 was longer?
I feel like 2020 was longer.
You think so?
But I was dealing with a lot of COVID at work.
True.
And I think that's what stretched it out. Because once it started here in Idaho, it started about the end of March-ish was when this area really got hit by it. And then it just, kept going. And it just... Looking back on it, it still seems like there was just a lot of year last year. But it was a whole year. I mean, but looking back on my clinicals, I hardly remember some of the places I went very well. I mean, vaguely, I remember, but they were just gone in blinks of an eye.
I don't know. We don't know why exactly it is that time.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Is slower when we're kids, and then it speeds up as we get older until at 50s it levels off. So if it does that, it seems like it should be connected to something. Maybe it's just the way our minds work differently by the time we're 50. Maybe.
Clinicals, maybe, because by the time they throw you in clinicals, especially that last summer, you've been through so much, your brain's fried. So you probably... couldn't convert
just
memory.
Some brain damage.
Yeah, there was brain damage at that point.
Maybe.
Lots and lots of it. You just barely get by at that point. I don't know. Either way, it's interesting. I always find time is an odd one. Is it always feels like, it's the one thing that you can't get back. And so you want to spend it wisely.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a lot of what I'd like to talk about in a series is how to spend time wisely.
So that's what this is going to be, is a series about time.
I'd like to talk
Sounds
about
good.
How to spend time wisely, how to make it so that you're doing the stuff in a day to use time wisely. And time is one of those things, like you said, is that once you've spent it, you can't get it back. So you kind of want to plan out how your time's going to go because you don't want it to be
sadly.
squandered.
Time is the one thing you can't, it's not a currency you can buy. Unlike currency where you can earn it and get money, you can't earn it back. You can't purchase it. It's not a commodity. Once we're all given so much time, and some have more than others. But the point is once you spend it, you spent it, and it's gone. But it is interesting to look back, because I feel like even high school High school seems like it was gone in a flash. I thought.
I feel like I was in high school for a really long time. So
Well,
maybe your high school was different than my high school.
might have been.
Maybe. I think some of it's moving a lot. You kind of stayed at the same high school for, I think, all of your high school, wasn't it?
No, I switched once for about a week and then went back.
Yeah. Yeah, so that might be it too. When you move a lot, you can be like, well, I was there, and then I was there, and then I was there. Maybe that makes it stretch out a little bit.
Yeah, 'cause my elementary school is really stretched out. Like, I feel like I was in elementary school a very long time. In some ways, looking back on it, in comparison to high school, I feel like I was in elementary. Like, the time it took, not that I remember it all, because I more remember, actually, it's funny, I remember all the schools I was at based on the playground, not
could
so
see that.
much the classroom
See, like maybe like you
and
said,
the
is that
interaction with people.
the stretching out of time and is when we're in our free time.
Yeah, maybe it
Is
is.
that-
And interacting with people.
Yeah.
Because anytime I remember being, I don't really remember being alone. So all the memories are filled with people. Maybe that's the key,
Maybe.
is people and having those connections and that, or
Maybe we
connecting
have
with
too
someone.
much time alone as adults. Maybe that makes it so that time.
Yeah, 'cause we spend a lot of time
Slows
just
down.
commuting or whatever.
That's true. And commuting alone. You see people driving around, they're always in the
Or
driver's seat by
cooking.
themselves.
You're kind of alone cooking and
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah.
So maybe that is the key. Who knows?
Maybe. That's true. That's a very interesting idea. Is that you'd probably spend a lot more time alone as you get older.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, I don't know what the connection would be.
I don't know.
Interesting to find the connection.
If you have any ideas, let us know in the comments.
Or have you noticed maybe the reverse? Do you feel like as you get older, time's slowing down? Because that would be very interesting to hear. Or have you noticed that yes, it is indeed going faster as you get older? Or if you're at 50 or above, have you noticed that it's come to a leveling place where it is just staying at the same
Yeah.
speed? Each year is going by just as fast as the previous years?
Or when you blink, does a day go by?
Yeah, but maybe it's always
terrifying.
been like that. Maybe it's been like that for a really long time. And so that's just the way that time is going to be for the rest of your life, is that it's all going to be going by in blinks.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you notice, maybe it is, do you notice that maybe time is going faster when you're alone? Maybe it's stretching out time if you're spending time with family, friends, or
Well, I think you don't
Something like
remember
that?
that as much, though. That's the problem.
is the time alone? Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't.
Time spent
there's no
alone.
memories really created at that point. I mean, you're just sitting there staring at whatever, or a lot of times when you're alone, you're thinking a bunch.
Yeah, you think
but
a
they're
lot.
not really making
But it's
memories.
not a present. Yeah, it's not being present really. Because
Yeah.
if you're sitting and thinking, you might be thinking about the past or the future, but being in the moment isn't as likely.
Yeah.
Maybe that's some of it.
Maybe that's key. Being more in the moment
Because kids are
will
definitely
solidify you more. Yeah,
lot
kids
more in
are
the
always
moment.
in the moment. They're
Yeah.
right now playing Barbies. They're right
Yeah.
now playing tag. They're right now, and they're in that moment. They're not thinking about, oh, maybe I should have done this at work or
yeah.
whatever.
They hardly think about the past.
Yeah.
Really. I guess there's not that much to pile up as
But
past.
they're not. Once they're done with their
definitely-
homework, they're done.
yeah.
They don't carry it on.
Yeah, I definitely don't remember dwelling on the past as a child.
No.
That is kind of a funny difference between childhood and being an adult.
Yeah.
Is the dwelling on the past. So let us know, what kinds of things is it that you feel like maybe make you stretch out your day or make it so it goes really fast, and any kinds of questions that you have that you've been thinking about time.
And I know you've been thinking about it, so here's your opportunity to subscribe. And you can be part of this. We're going to do a kind of a time series. I don't know how long it'll go, just until we get bored with it, I guess.
Until we get bored, because
Yeah.
time is such an interesting thing, though. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe until we run out of things to talk about.
Yeah. And then it'll be
Yeah.
off to other things.
Yeah, so let us know any kinds of things that you've been thinking about time, and what kinds of things you can do to spend it wisely, what kinds of things concern you about time, so we could maybe even discuss those later.
Yep. And until then, goodbye.
Goodbye.